Nobody's buying these boats right now, and honestly, only the truly clueless would even think about it. The market looks calm on the surface, but underneath, it's a full-on disaster. Dealers are drowning in leftover inventory. Prices are dropping faster than they can print new stickers. And the models being pushed the hardest? They're the ones packed with hidden problems, cheap materials, and shortcuts nobody wanted you to notice. But here's where it gets worse. Some of these boats lose value the second you tow them off the lot. Others are hiding issues that could cost you thousands before your first season is even over. Before you make a mistake you can't undo. Let's start with the first boat on the list. Bayliner Element 18. You have seen this boat before, the bright white runabout, sitting front and center at every marina display, tagged with a price that looks too good to be real. The Bayliner Element 18 was built to be the everyman's entry point into boating. Compact, affordable, and easy to tow. That was the pitch. But behind the brochure shine, the math no longer works. In the spring of 2023, new units carried stickers just under $28,995. Scroll through listings today, and that same model appears for $18,900. Sometimes less. That is roughly a 35% collapse in barely 1.5 years. The reason is not mystery. During the pandemic demand spike, Bayliner increased production faster than dealer networks could absorb. When interest rates doubled, floor plan loans became anchors. Dealers began discounting just to free up storage space. But that is only half the story. Owners soon discovered shortcuts hidden beneath the gel coat. Soft floors after a single season, stress cracks along the transom, fittings that loosen before the first oil change. In many warranty shops, technicians quietly admit they spend more hours repairing 18 series models than delivering them. If you financed one at 7% interest, your loan balance today likely exceeds the resale value by several thousand. That means every sunny weekend adds another $250 of invisible depreciation before you even count fuel, insurance, or storage. Bayliner calls the Element a simple, reliable gateway to the water. Owners now call it a slow leak in the wallet. Across auction data and dealer networks, the pattern repeats: oversupply, cost-cutting, and quality drift. Even loyal Bayliner fans are walking away, switching to used aluminum rigs that hold value longer. The lesson is blunt but necessary. A cheap hull is not a safe bet when materials thin out and warranty queues stretch for weeks. Beyond the numbers and the anecdotes, the broader resale market shows how quickly perceptions can harden once a product gains a reputation for fragility. Consignment yards now report that Element models linger twice as long as comparable boats, even when priced aggressively. Prospective buyers often walk away after a brief inspection, citing concerns about long-term durability and the rising cost of marine labor. Insurance adjusters, too, have taken notice, flagging an unusual uptick in small claim repairs tied to structural issues and water intrusion. All of this feeds a cycle that becomes difficult to reverse. Low confidence pushes prices down, falling prices draw bargain hunters instead of committed owners, and bargain hunters are quickest to resell when problems arise. In the end, the market moves on, leaving discounted inventory as a reminder of shortcuts taken. Such patterns rarely correct themselves without substantial redesigns and years of regained trust. This segment of the market once promised freedom on a budget. Today it proves the opposite. When the numbers fall this far, that is not competition. That is erosion. And the worst part? The boats still keep arriving, stacked on trailers, waiting for the next uninformed buyer to believe the bargain sign. Sea-Doo Switch Compact. It began as a bold idea: merge a jet ski's speed with a pontoon's comfort, and you would reinvent family boating. That was the promise behind the Sea-Doo Switch Compact, a 13-foot modular watercraft that looked more like the future than a fad. When it launched in 2023, the sticker read $27,499. Dealers called it revolutionary. Early buyers called it freedom on a trailer. 2 seasons later, that optimism has vanished. across dealer networks in Florida, Texas, and the Carolinas, those same boats are now parked at $18,500, sometimes $17,000 even. That is roughly a 32% slide before a single loan is paid off. The numbers are only the surface. Owners report the real trouble starts beneath the deck. Jet propulsion means fewer moving parts, but the cooling system is unforgiving. Engine temperature alarms flash after only 20 hours of use. Modular seat clips made from lightweight polymer begin to crack. Replacement parts backorder for weeks because of supplier shortages. One documented case on a national marine forum shows a customer waiting 46 days for a steering column under warranty. By the time the part arrived, summer was already over. Service departments describe the compact as a personal watercraft with pontoon problems. The maintenance cost rivals boats twice its size. Insurance quotes have climbed 12% since last season, following a surge of small claim filings for electrical faults and hull stress. Even dealers privately admit that warranty hours per unit doubled between 2023 and 2025. Depreciation math tells the rest. A financed buyer who put down $5,000 now owes roughly $22,000 on a product worth less than $19,000. That gap, invisible on the showroom floor, becomes painful when resale time arrives. The Sea-Doo Switch Compact was designed to bring innovation to family recreation. Instead, it exposed how thin margins and over-engineered gimmicks can turn ownership into obligation. Its promise of simplicity became its flaw. When modular plastic meets real-world sunlight and vibration, durability bows to design. And now, as more units hit the secondary market, a clearer pattern emerges. Families who once praised the versatility are quietly trading out for traditional pontoons or used deck boats that simply hold up better over time. Marinas report rising hesitation from first-time buyers, many of whom have heard the stories about heat sensors, cracked panels, and delayed parts. The reputation, once buoyed by novelty, now sinks under the weight of real-world use. What began as an exciting hybrid has become a case study in how innovation without endurance can drain both wallets and enthusiasm, leaving owners with a craft that promised adventure but delivered complexity. And here's the quiet truth few dealers admit. Every discount tag on a leftover compact is not generosity. It is triage. The next chapter reveals what happens when the price of performance falls faster than trust. Before we move on, take a second to hit like if this breakdown is helping you see the truth behind dealer pricing. Subscribe for more real numbers and share your thoughts below. Your experience could expose what others still overlook. Regal LS6 Surf. Luxury once meant confidence. You paid more, you got more. Or at least that was the promise. The Regal LS6 Surf turned that belief inside out. When it first reached showrooms in 2023, it shimmered under spotlights. Long lines of glossy hulls, touchscreen dashboards glowing, and banners boasting cutting-edge surf technology. The price matched the spectacle, $142,000, give or take a few upgrades. For that kind of money, buyers expected endurance. What they got instead was one of the fastest value drops in modern boating. Scroll through current listings, and the story is blunt. Most LS Surf units now trade between $107,000 and $112,000, and several have dipped below the six-figure mark. That is a fall of roughly $35,000 in under 2 seasons. The depreciation chart looks less like a curve and more like a staircase. Every month, another step down, a steady reminder that early excitement doesn't guarantee long-term stability. Owners point to the same culprits: overcomplicated surf systems and inconsistent electronics. Ballast sensors misread water levels mid-ride. Touch panels freeze during calibration. In some cases, throttle inputs delay by nearly a second. Those faults turn luxury weekends into troubleshooting sessions. One dealership in Wisconsin admitted that parts for the control module backlog for 6 weeks, leaving several boats unusable at the peak of summer, a stretch of downtime that feels even longer when you're still making monthly payments. Repair invoices tell their own story. A replacement control screen averages $2,800 before labor. Surf system diagnostics start at $600 and climb from there. And while warranty coverage softens the hit, downtime kills value. Buyers in the used market know which serial years carry those issues, and they walk away fast, often before the conversation gets past the first question about maintenance history. Even cosmetic craftsmanship has slipped. Several owner photos show fine stress lines along engine mounts within the first year. Regal called them isolated events, but listings with those repairs noted now command 10% less than unblemished units. And even when the cracks are purely superficial, perception becomes its own form of damage, one that no gel coat kit can fully erase. The LS6 Surf remains beautiful, but beauty alone does not protect equity. When complexity outruns reliability, premium becomes liability. And as more weekend boaters document their frustrations online, the market's skepticism grows sharper. Brokers note that trade-in offers on these models are now among the most conservative in Regal's entire catalog, a quiet acknowledgement that recurring faults have reshaped expectations. Families who once dreamed of surf-ready afternoons now hesitate, wary of touchscreen glitches and delayed parts that can strip half a season away. The brand's reputation for refinement has taken a bruise, and without meaningful improvements, the resale gap may only widen. In the end, the LS6 Surf illustrates a simple truth many high-end builders forget. Luxury isn't defined by polished surfaces or marketing slogans. It's defined by the confidence that the product will work every single time you turn the key. And if you think high-end models fall fast, the next one proves that even workboats built for grit can collapse under corrosion faster than anyone expected. Tracker Targa V18 Combo. Dependable. That was the word stamped into every brochure, plastered across every trailer ad, and echoed by sales reps promoting the Tracker Targa V18 Combo. For years, it stood as the trusted aluminum rig for families who fished on Saturday and skied on Sunday. Built under the Bass Pro umbrella, the boat promised toughness without the luxury price tag, a working person's weekend machine. But that reputation is beginning to corrode, both literally and financially, and loyal owners are feeling the strain. In 2022, a new Targa V18 Combo rolled out of showrooms for around $45,000. Today, trade-in values sink near $27,000, with private sales dipping below $26,000. That is an erosion of nearly 40% in barely 3 years. This isn't a seasonal dip or a post-holiday slump. It's structural fatigue meeting market fatigue, and buyers are noticing the pattern. A quietly issued service bulletin labeled T21N confirmed what owners had already posted across forums. Premature seam corrosion, where aluminum hull panels meet stainless hardware. Add vibration, a splash of salt water, and a little time, and the reaction begins to eat from the inside out. Mechanics call it the silver rust. You can't always spot it until the leak begins, and once it does, repairs often run $5,500 or more. That wipes out most resale value long before the invoice hits the mailbox. Dealers in Minnesota and Michigan acknowledge warranty queues stretching deep into winter. They cite parts delays and labor shortages, but the outcome is unchanged. Boats sitting idle during peak months. Owners who financed during the low-rate boom now owe more than their rigs can fetch. That upside-down math is pushing many to store, scrap, or sell at a loss rather than fix. The tragedy is that the V18 Combo earned its following the honest way. It was built for blue-collar weekends, not marinas lined with chrome and champagne coolers. But rushed welds, cost-cut materials, and post-pandemic shortcuts turned a once-reliable name into a liability. Even devoted tracker fans are drifting toward used Lunds or Alumacrafts just to avoid another corrosion claim. When aluminum fails, it fails quietly, and reputations fall just as fast. As more surveys and inspection reports circulate online, buyers have grown wary of any model year tied to the affected production run. Independent mechanics report a spike in pre-purchase structural checks, a sign that trust has thinned to a thread. Insurance adjusters now flag Targa hull claims as potential repeat incidents, nudging premiums higher and pushing budget-minded families elsewhere. Spring test drive events, once crowded with curious shoppers, now see people walking straight past the tracker lineup toward brands with cleaner histories. The used market still finds takers for the V18 combo, but mostly those gambling on a project boat rather than seeking a dependable companion. And that underscores the harsh truth. Once corrosion reaches the reputation, no patch kit can seal it. The story of rust beneath the paint is one thing, but what happens when a boat's beauty becomes its biggest disguise? That revelation surfaces next. 4 Winds H2. From a distance, the 4 Winds H2 looks flawless. A sculpted hull, shimmering gel coat, and a bow that catches sunlight like cut glass. It was meant to be the modern family runabout, proof that American design could still mix beauty with backbone. When it launched, the average showroom price hovered around $70,000. By the second year, many dealers were listing the same boats between $47,000 and $49,000. That is more than $20,000 in lost value before the second registration renewal. What happened? The short answer is pressure. When demand peaked after the pandemic, factories ran over time. Production doubled, quality control thinned, and the clock moved faster than the curing resin. Owners began sharing photos online, small bubbles under the gel coat, hairline cracks across deck corners, and soft spots near the transom. These weren't isolated blemishes. They were markers of rushed layups and uneven fiberglass saturation, the kind of shortcuts that don't appear on build sheets, but reveal themselves the moment real use begins. A regional distributor memo quietly circulated in early 2024. It admitted inconsistency in fiberglass layering during high-volume months. The company extended some limited warranties to 2 years, but that gesture felt more like damage control than goodwill. Technicians call most issues cosmetic, yet every mark on the hull becomes negotiation leverage when you try to sell. Buyers don't care whether the flaw affects performance, they care that it exists at all, especially on a boat marketed as premium. Repair shops now charge an average of $3,500 to refinish affected panels. Add trailer wear, seasonal storage, and insurance premiums that rose 9% this year, and the financial math turns sharp. The problem isn't the ride, the H2 still handles well. It's the reputation. Once a model earns a whisper of weakness, resale confidence disappears, and so do potential buyers who don't want to inherit someone else's gamble. Longtime boaters say they can feel every shortcut the moment they hit chop. That phrase, "you can feel it," appears again and again in owner reviews. It's a sentence that kills future demand faster than any advertisement can fix. 4 Winds built its heritage on craftsmanship and endurance. The H2 reveals how quickly that heritage can fade when production speed outruns precision. A boat this pretty should have aged gracefully. Instead, it aged fast. And the downstream effects are beginning to compound. Brokers report that potential buyers now bring moisture meters and inspection mirrors to routine walkthroughs, a level of scrutiny once reserved for decades-old vessels, not boats barely out of warranty. Several lending institutions have tightened appraisal guidelines on the H2, quietly lowering acceptable loan-to-value ratios after repeated resale shortfalls. Even marinas have noticed the shift, with an uptick in slip transfers from owners frustrated by warranty delays or climbing repair quotes. The story repeats with exhausting consistency. The H2 invites admiration from afar, yet disappointment up close. In a market where trust determines value, the model's early missteps cast a long shadow. A reminder that beauty can't outrun build quality, no matter how bright it shines. If you want to stay ahead of every new price drop and hidden recall before it hits the headlines, make sure you're subscribed. Each video uncovers what the ads leave out, so you never buy blind again. Tahoe T18. Some boats look harmless at first glance. The Tahoe T18 was built on that image. Compact, friendly, and priced for weekend comfort. It was supposed to be the answer for families who wanted an easy tow, quick launch, and simple upkeep. When it arrived in showrooms, the sticker floated around $31,995. By early 2025, factory fresh listings appeared online for $23,995. Used ones slid into the $14,000 range. That is nearly half the value erased in just 2 short years. The reason traces straight back to material choice and production speed. During the post-pandemic boom, Tahoe's parent group, White River Marine, expanded output across multiple factories. With higher volume came thinner resin layers and cheaper subfloor cores. Technicians from Bass Pro service centers quietly noted water absorption in the deck cores within the first season. Once moisture gets inside, delamination begins. The fiberglass separates from the structure like wet cardboard peeling apart. Repair invoices show the real damage. Replacing rotted stringers costs around $4,700. Rebuilding a deck averages another $2,800. Add transportation and labor, and the repair bill can exceed the resale value of the boat itself. That is why so many owners have simply stopped fixing them. Storage yards now hold dozens of T18s waiting for insurance assessments that rarely approve full payouts. The insurance market noticed too. Premiums on new Tahoe hulls rose 11% this season, not because of claims from accidents, but from water intrusion. Dealers, unable to hide the issue, have started labeling discount tags as factory adjustments. What that really means is unsold stock that costs more to repair than to sell. The T18's biggest flaw is its silence. Everything feels fine until one day the floor softens under your feet. Then you start calculating every hour on the water in dollars lost. What looked like affordable fun becomes a slow drain of repairs, deductibles, and frustration. It proves that entry-level price does not mean entry-level risk. And as more inspection reports surface, buyers have learned to approach these hulls with suspicion rather than excitement. Marine surveyors now report that T18 pre-purchase evaluations take nearly twice as long because so many structural checkpoints must be ruled out. Dealers who once stocked rows of them now keep only a handful, preferring brands with fewer warranty debates. Even trade-in departments have grown cautious, offering bottom-dollar values to avoid inheriting hidden moisture issues. In the secondary market, shoppers scroll past listings entirely, aware that a great deal often masks a looming rebuild. The story is simple. When a boat fails where you cannot see, trust fails everywhere else. But if this feels heavy, the next story lightens nothing. It exposes how high performance can mask fragile engineering until the warranty runs out. See Ray SPX 210. There was a time when the Sea Ray badge meant something untouchable. It stood for polish, pedigree, and quiet confidence on the water. The SPX 210 was built to carry that legacy forward. A sleek, family-sized bowrider meant to bridge affordability and prestige. Yet somewhere between the marketing and the marina, that promise started to unravel. When this model first hit dealerships, a well-equipped version averaged $89,000. 2 years later, dealer auctions now close at $61,000, sometimes as low as $59,000. That is a drop of roughly $28,000 in less than 24 months. The steepest fall in Sea Ray's modern catalog. You might expect a luxury downturn to follow broader economics, but the real issue is mechanical. Factory Bulletin SR124 1. Documented electrical harness shorts near the helm cluster. Corrosion around wiring joints caused flickering gauges, failing bilge pumps, and, in some cases, early mold under interior liners. Repair estimates average $5,000. Dealers in Georgia and Michigan even paused orders while warranty budgets were reset. Those backlogs made once loyal owners question everything they believed about the brand. Beyond the wiring, moisture intrusion has plagued many hulls stored outdoors. Owners report soft flooring under aft seating and bubbling near rub rails after the first season. Cosmetic issues alone would not sink resale, but when the service record lists 3 warranty visits before year 2, buyers back away. The result is inventory that lingers. And every month on the lot knocks another 2% off its value. Insurance companies have noticed the pattern. Policy quotes on SPX models rose 10% year over year, citing increased claim frequency. A boat that once symbolized stability now represents risk management. Even brokers struggle to move used units without deep markdowns. They call it holding inventory risk. The customer calls it being stuck. Sea Ray remains a respected name, built on decades of craftsmanship and open water prestige. But the SPX 210 proves that heritage cannot outrun hard math. When corporate cost-cutting meets premium pricing, loyalty becomes expensive, and reputation alone cannot carry the weight of disappointment. Buyers who once believed the badge guaranteed reliability are now discovering that trust has a shelf life. Legacy matters, but depreciation speaks louder. Every discount listing, every warranty claim reminds us that even icons can sink under the pressure of their own marketing promises, and the ripple effects stretch further than resale charts. Marina operators say SPX owners request haul-outs earlier in the season, worried about moisture creeping into places they can't inspect. Surveyors now flag these models with longer disclaimers, advising buyers to budget for electrical rewiring before even launching. Financing departments, once comfortable approving top-tier loans for Sea Ray purchases, have quietly adjusted their expectations, lowering projected residual values across the line. What was once considered a safe buy has become a calculated gamble. In a segment where trust is currency, the SPX 210 has spent far more of it than it earned, and the market is keeping score. If this breakdown opened your eyes to what's really happening in the boat market, do me a favor, hit that like button. Drop a comment if you've owned any of these models or seen the problems firsthand. Your story might save someone else a ton of money. And if you want more real numbers, real warnings, and real reviews the dealers won't tell you, subscribe to the channel. We're just getting started, and the next video dives even deeper into the models that are quietly collapsing behind the scenes. Don't buy blind, stay informed, stay sharp, and I'll see you in the next one.